The scene is set outside the von Hunsbrook estate. The black Mercedes of John Stanhope drives across the gravel car park. His driver, Alfred, this evening opens the door, at which point the prince slowly appears out of the car, hobbling with his one leg, slowly limping towards the door, leaving his servant behind. There is no threat here. He goes to the door, he taps politely with his cane.
I'm sorry, out of character. Haikal is not here yet, right?
Make it easy. I'm there, so I'll answer the door with a wide smile on my face. Prince Stanhope, please come inside.
Thank you. It is good to see you, Haikal. You were sorely missed in the last Primogen meeting.
Yes, I've been told all about it. I'm so glad that you came. There's a lot of information that needs to be shared. A lot of misconceptions as well that need to be cleared up. Though I think I've gotten to the bottom of it. I'm not entirely sure. Let's find a seat in the study. I believe that's where Megan is.
Would you mind if you would permit me to see Mr. O'Connell this evening? This has been a while since I visited.
Oh, certainly. I believe that he's being kept in one of the bedrooms.
Has he been well?
I nod towards you, as well as can be. He participated in the selection of myself as Primogen. Actually, when you set him in front of a surface that he can scratch, sometimes he makes his point across.
That's incredible. He's actually responded to something's going on in the outside world. Do you think this is a road to recovery?
Perhaps. He doesn't respond to anything else, and a lot of times it's nonsense, but I can't say that I've been fawning over him hand and foot. I've been dealing with the crisis.
Of course.
Perhaps we can speak before you meet with him.
Yes, I suppose that would be best to get the business out the way. There's a lot to discuss.
So we'll head towards the study, and I'll hold the door open for you.
Megan Maitland will be, she heard some rustling and the door open. She was previously on her tablet, and she, of course, recognizes the voice. She is a little bit taken aback that he's visited, but, of course, this is technically his. She would stand as they enter the room.
Please, Miss Maitland, sit down. This is your home.
She would nod. She said, "Good evening, my prince. It's a surprise to see you."
Myself and Haikal have probably a lot to discuss, given the incidents that were discussed in the Primogen meeting. But I thought a visit to the old estate would be welcome in these rather trying nights.
She nods grimly in agreement. She looks at the both of them and says, "Would you gentlemen like some privacy, or do you want me to attend?"
You should most definitely remain.
She'll nod.
First, may I start to say how aggrieved I am that the treaty did not pass. I suppose in my arrogance, I thought I'd be the first prince to be able to bind the Camarilla and the Anarchs. I'm not the first prince in the city who has tried.
It was a very valiant effort, and you had plenty of support behind you, our clan included. But not stronger voices, but persistent voices prevailed. There's nothing we can do now but salvage what's left. Which I put my hands on the table and kind of look a little nervous. Grab my forehead and kind of rustle my hair. There is this dreadful rumor out there that Javier is under a blood hunt. I engaged with the Anarchs in a conversation just a few hours back. All of them were moving together. The whole conversation happened in a van, so as a group.
Megan's
they're
eyes are
talking
widening
about-
as he's saying this.
And one of the Anarchs called Nick.
Nick DeForno, I am aware.
Yes. He had a conversation with the sheriff, and the sheriff informed him that the Anarchs are not being hunted, or there's no aggression against them. So
Why
that he
would
should,
we be aggressors against them? We were trying to join them into the Camarilla.
yes, but they're under some impression, and Nick told me that that I glanced over at Megan, and I said he gave me two names. He said someone named Sid, and as well as the Master of Harpies, informed the Anarchs that Laird said that there might be a hunt in the future, while Sid told him that there is a hunt for Javier. And with all the pieces together, we deduced, and I glanced at Megan and kind of smiled, that those in charge, the people in charge, the Primogen, yourself, the Seneschal, who I also spoke to and confirmed this, the people in charge have not called for any sort of hunt or aggression, but those underneath you, the neonates and those seeking fame, believe that there's a blood hunt because that rumor that was started. And the worst case scenario would be that they act upon it, attack Javier. Javier defends himself, most likely, since the Anarchs are moving in a pack, destroy whoever they perceive is sent by the prince to kill them, and then what we have is chaos, a mess, where the Anarchs think that you sent goons against them, while you know that you didn't. The situation won't be salvageable at that point, because they've committed a death. And of course the Tremere will be knocking at your door wanting retribution.
The term blood hunt was never mentioned in the meeting. That is a very weighted word, and I use that right as prince very lightly. As you're aware, only foolish princes make casual use of the word.
Agreed.
What I did require, though, is due to the unfortunate reveal that Miss Quinn was a suspected and most likely confirmed Sabbat informant, that I would like to speak with Javier Rojas, as he was the one who perpetrated this information. And if my contacts are true, sold guns to the Anarchs. Not the Anarchs, the Sabbat.
I look a little relieved as I hear this, and I say, that topic came up as well in the van, of course. He said that he'd be glad to talk with you, because he's got nothing to hide. However, he's afraid to come and have a conversation with you in person. I don't agree with him on this, but he's afraid that he might be walking into a trap, or at least a situation where I tapped the side of my head. He can be tampered with, so he prefers speaking to you through use of the internet, something like Skype. He'll talk to you at a distance, and he'll clear his mind, and you can have your conversation with him.
He thinks he will not be safe for me tampering with him. Well, that's pots and kettles, I think. But what has he got to hide? If he has truly nothing to hide, then he will come and see me. If he wishes for people to stand by and bear witness, I have no problem with that. I may ask him if I may use the powers of the mind to be able to seek out the truth, or recollect memories which may have been suppressed.
A very fine notion, my prince. Let us say that you have your first conversation with him through use of the internet, and I'm certain you'll be able to persuade him to meet you in person. I, of course, will provide added word to them meeting you or him meeting you in person, but I think that this first meeting through use of the internet would be the best way to handle it personally, because it would show a great deal of trust both ways.
Perhaps, Haikal, but it also shows a certain lack of disrespect and weakness on my part. Other kindred knew that I bowed down to a neonate's wishes because he's afraid to meet me face to face. What will people say?
I understand your point, but someone has to move in this equation. There has to be a gesture. So perhaps I swim my eyes. We'll decide something. I'm certain. I'll glance over at Megan for a moment, and then look back at you.
You can tell him he has my word and praxis. He can bring whoever he wishes, that no harm will befall him. I will get to the truth of this matter. That is all. We might have possible Sabbat infiltration. If Miss Quinn could have been an informant, anyone could have been an informant. I cannot have that happen. And now that the Anarchs have, well, the treaty has not been signed, and the Anarchs are not as, well, maintained, I worry that they might have another informant in their number. These are my fears, Haikal. I cannot change them.
I understand the fears, and we'll get to the bottom of this, Prince. Of all the clans in the city, you can trust us. I would say the most, aside from your own, of course, I say as I stand up. I am ever busy, Prince Stanshope, Megan. I lower my head to both of you. Thank you kindly for allowing this meeting to happen here, Megan. The Prince wishes to see his dear friend O'Connell as well. I believe he's in one of the bedrooms.
Just to let you be aware, Haikal, I understand your time is precious. I will be calling on the Justicars to send their agents to treat with your elder.
I kind of fold my clothes around me a bit, and I just give you a very slow nod. Very well.
I will let you know when they will arrive. I suspect you will be used as an intermediary, or your contribution will be well accepted.
Thank you for this great honor. My service is only to peace, and this city plays a pivotal role in the times ahead, I'm certain. We have to make sure the peace begins and lasts. Heaven forbid there's another death. I say, thinking of the recent news that I've just a few hours ago discovered of Ariadne. I lower my eyes and exit the room.
Well, if ever Megan looked like a deer in the headlights, now would be the time. She looks over at the prince as Haikal is leaving, and she says, I know how Haikal feels, but this isn't Javier's choice anymore.
When Haikal returns, he says, producing a piece of paper, "Would you ask him to give this to Mr. Walsh? It is a simple declaration saying that, although the treaty did not succeed, that I personally would like to make sure that relations between our two sects are at least on speaking terms, and that Mr. Rojas must help us due to the fear of a Sabbat infiltration, and to emphasize that to keep his own house clean of any such infiltrations for the good of all the city."
Megan will take the piece of paper and fold it and put it in her tablet as she closes it, and she said, "I will absolutely do that."
I don't want to keep you, Miss Maitland. If you would care to show me to Mr. O'Connell.
Certainly. She will lead the prince upstairs into one of the several bedrooms. Let me get my photos back. For the moment, Mr. O'Connell's being kept in this particular bedroom. Every evening, he's moved around, so he could look out the window and whatnot on High Call's orders. Prince Dancehope is free to look around the room and investigate to his satisfaction.
Well, unknown to Miss Maitland, John has already maintained his own curiosity to make sure that Mr. O'Connor is being looked after and is satisfied. He steps into the room and sort of hovers there for a moment, deciding whether he should go in or not. You may leave us, Miss Maitland.
And Megan would nod and head back downstairs to the library where she previously was studying.
Good evening, Jake. I suppose the only time I've ever called you Jake is when you've been like this. John takes a moment and sits down on the stool next to the bed, where he's being propped up. I'm sorry I haven't visited. Business, the city is as chaotic as ever. I wish you were here to see it. I could do with your insight. You probably have reams of notes I can't read, telling me exactly what I should do. Because honestly, sometimes I don't know. I don't know how Williams dealt with it all. Well, we both know he didn't. Eventually, he got caught in his own web. I know that loss hurt you a lot, and I should have done more. It just never ends, Jake. And I feel I've lost too much getting here. I look at you and I know I should look after you, I know I should feel loyal to you, but I feel nothing. There's nothing left. We both know I was a monster when we first met. And for a brief moment I thought I could be a man again. But now everyone expects a monster. Sometimes I think the city needs it. Just never stops. And with that, the silence draws on. The prince is lost for words. He simply sits there, feeling the self-imposed judgment from his paralytic coterie mate, his brother, the adopted venturer, the Vencavian that came to them, the lost child. And one of the few people left John can say is actually his friend. So few things left, he thinks. So few things that connect me to this world. And they're getting smaller by the day. Fencing.